Hello and welcome to SBK Unplugged, Sheldon Bosley Knight's Land and Property podcast. My name is Kate Gould and I'm the host of the show. Today I'm in the studio with our Lettings Director Rebecca Dean and our Lettings Manager Sophie Biddle. Welcome to you both, particularly Sophie because you haven't been here before, so it's lovely to see you. Thank you for
having me.
Before we kick off, I'd like to say a big thank you again to our friends at Mill Street for hosting us in their studio. Thank you very much, guys. So, Sophie, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming to see us in the studio. And hello again, Becca.
Hi.
Now, a couple of months ago, your lettings team hosted a fantastic event for our landlords in Stratford, and it was the first of its kind. But you've been beavering away because it was so successful in organising a second one. And so I wanted to get you in the studio so you could tell me a bit more about it and what our landlords can expect. So, yes.
I think, just to start with, obviously, our Stratford landlord event was our first, was massively successful. We were really, really impressed with how many landlords actually turned out for the event. We had 115 landlords in the room. I think all of the information that was provided on the evening from either myself or the speakers that attended was found to be very informative and beneficial to landlords. The feedback that we had from the landlords that did complete our feedback form was that 100% of landlords would attend another one, which we see as a massive success, a big win, especially for our first event. Leading up to that, we had quite a few of our Leicestershire landlords that reached out to say, will you be holding an event in our area? So, yes, we've decided to come away from that one straight into the organising of another one. And I'll let Sophie give you more details about that. Yes, so for our landlords Leicestershire-wise, we are organising a landlord evening on the 18th of November and at St Martin's House Conference Centre in Leicestershire City Centre. It will be doors open from 6 o'clock and the evening will commence at 6:45. And we've got several speakers for the evening. So one for landlord taxation, financial services, home let for our referencing and rent guarantee service that we offer landlords. And also Becca will be going through the Renters' Right Act. Mm-hmm. And I will just be doing a little update on market trends and a bit of what we're doing in branch with the changes.
Yes, because I'd imagine that obviously in September it was the Renters' Rights Bill. Now we are Renters' Rights Act. So I think there must be some landlords out there who probably will be beneficial for them to come to listen to some updated information. Becca, what's in terms of the acts, are you anticipating against? Because when you did the one in September, you got lots of questions. Are you anticipating similar this time?
I think there will still be a lot of questions. Obviously, we're going to be presenting to a different audience. Our Stratford event, was mainly made up of landlords who have properties in the Stratford, Leamington, Evesham areas. Mm-hmm. We have a few landlords from Coventry. We did actually have a couple turn out from Leicestershire and also Solihull. Whereas I think Leicestershire is going to be more our landlords who have properties with our Market Harbour branch, Oadby, Loughborough. We are stretching that out to Nuneaton and Coventry, but it is open to all landlords. So anybody that did attend the Stratford one is still welcome to attend, but we are expecting that it will be a different audience in the room. So we're expecting that the information is still going to be massively beneficial to them, but also there are going to be lots of questions specifically around the Renters' Rights Act, especially now that it has been passed through law and it's in the statute book. But I think the evening is so that we can give landlords updates, give them the information that they'll need. So we'll be there to answer their questions.
And at the last event, there were lots of questions for all of the speakers who came. So with that in mind, have you allocated a little bit of extra time to accommodate possibly the same, if not more, questions for each of the speakers?
We have, definitely. And we've actually got one speaker less this time because we did have a bit of an update on EPCs in the last one, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. But because we ran over with the Renters' Rights Bill at the time, it meant that we ran over with the evening, but I think a lot of landlords by that stage were just perhaps ready to go home, finish long days at work. So we will deliver an update on EPCs at some point in the future, but given that that's potential changes for 2028 at the moment, we think the focus should be on the here and now. So as Sophie's already said, she'll be giving a bit of a market update. I'll be covering off the Renters' Rights Act, and then we have got taxation, financial services and home let, because we think all of those are massively important topics for landlords to listen into. So having one speaker less does allow us a little bit more time in between each session, firstly in case we run over, but secondly to allow for any questions so that landlords do get a chance to ask those.
And I would imagine that you would get a lot of questions about the financial aspects, because we've got the budget coming up at the end of this month. And although there hasn't been any implementation dates as far as the elements of the bill is concerned, all of these things are kind of uppermost in all our landlords' minds. And I would imagine also that the rent guarantee and referencing is going to be hugely important for landlords now that the bill has gone into law. So coming along to listen to that in itself is going to be hugely beneficial, I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we pride ourselves. We pride ourselves in the partnerships that we have with our suppliers, because we do think that we have chosen the best suppliers that can offer the best possible protection for our landlords. Home let referencing is fantastic. They do fraud checks on tenants, and they're one of the only referencing providers out there that do that. And this is potential tenants, so before the stage of the tenancy commencing. So having quality references in place and being in a position to then be able to take a rent guarantee and legal expenses service, which is of course something we offer but done through home let. I think to have home let in the room talking about that directly to the landlords will understand the importance of that and be able to say what they're also getting as part of their service. Other speakers in the room, I mean, landlord taxation, that was quite a big topic in the Stratford event. Lots of landlords had questions around that, so we'd be really, really glad to have HVO back in the room to talk about that. And then financial services, I mean, for those landlords, I mean, we may have people in the room who are not yet a landlord but considering being a landlord, so to understand what's happening in the financial services world, deals that are currently available and may be available in the future, it would be great for that information to be shared as well.
And Sophie, you and your team up in Leicester, in the whole business, you've been working really hard to educate and inform our landlords of all of the various stages of the bill as it's been going through Parliament. Not just the bill, but other aspects. But that's been probably the most important thing this year. How are sort of landlords feeling at the moment? Are they, because we don't want them to panic, because I know that you've done so much work for them and to try and get them not to panic, but how are they feeling at the moment?
So particularly our branch, Market Hardware, we found that the panic was quite early on when it was first known that the bill was going to be implemented. Now, I think obviously our landlords are still a bit uncertain, but with the right guidance and support that me and my team provide to our landlords, they are coming around to the changes and know that it's not all gloom, and there is obviously light at the end, really. And it's obviously, we're just very fortunate to be able to be fully informed by Becca, that's obviously been able to give us all the guidance we need to be able to guide our landlords through such a big change.
Yeah, because I was reading in the trade press, and I read a few articles in the last few weeks, that a lot of agents are not as up to speed on the now as they perhaps should be. But you guys have been working for what seems like months and months, years since it's been mooted, by the previous government. So I would imagine that the landlords and the tenants as well feel informed and, hopefully more confident than they would do otherwise.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would certainly hope so. Obviously, We've been in the studio here a fair bit, releasing video content, updates, podcasts. There have been written updates as well. Obviously, we've had our landlord event in Stratford. We've got our next one in Leicestershire. So it has been about keeping our landlords informed. And as Sophie has said, we did see a bit of a flurry in the very early stages where I think we had landlords panicking. And I think, in the podcast earlier this year, we touched on the fact that, most landlords will just ride the storm. I think some of them that have had that initial panic have made their decision already. That's not to say that we're not going to lose landlords. I mean, I hope that we don't lose too many more. But it's not to say that landlords won't make that decision, that now is the right time for them to exit the market. But I do think now that the landlords that we're working with within our portfolios, that they will be riding the storm. They'll be taking our guidance, letting us hold their hand where needed. But the reason for the updates is to keep them educated.
Yeah.
Even though the landlords use our fully managed service, they still need to be kept informed with what's going on. And they still need to know that as their agent, we are here to support them, for them to lean on, so that in times of change, where there is a lot of uncertainty and fear of the unknown, they know that they can speak to us and that they've got our full support, and that we're the ones with the knowledge that can then move things forward, make sure they're still compliant with legislation, and make sure that everything with their property or portfolio is brought up to speed.
And the previous event that we did, the landlords were coming out at the intervals saying how appreciative they were of all the information. So it's good to have that hand-holding exercise, letting them know that they feel supported, but also there's going to be an element of networking for them at this event coming up in Leicester. And it will be good for them to see that they're not alone, that there are, 30, 40, 50 other landlords in the room with them who are going through exactly the same. So, I mean, that must be good for them to know.
Yeah,
that.
Definitely. I think so. They're probably, I think obviously when you are a landlord, you do just think about your own properties and that no one else is really going through the situation. So it's really important that they're not alone in it and that we are there for them.
Yeah.
And change is sometimes good.
Yeah.
So we just need to not be worrying, know that we're there to support them, and we, like Becca said, we're going to ride through that storm, and it's going to be all lovely by the end of it.
Yeah. Well, change is always, there's always fear of change, isn't there? I have fear of change. But I think it's not necessarily the change itself, it's more the uncertainty that comes with that. So by giving the landlords the certainty, by making sure that they're kept in the know, and then by giving them the peace of mind that we're going to take care of everything for them, I think those are the key elements here, that will make our landlords feel supported and also allow them to turn to us when they need to. The fact that other landlords will be in the room allows them just to share their own experience and hear from others on what they're going through at the moment. And, if they have had any, problems with tenants or the tenancy, or perhaps a tenant not paying rent, as well as then with what is to come on the legislative side of things. So, yeah, I'm sure the event is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Our first one was amazing, so we're planning to make this one just as good, if not better. So if you are a landlord of ours, you will have received an email. Within that email, you'd have received several emails actually, but within those emails there will be the link to our registration form. We still have spaces available. We're keen to get as many landlords in the room as possible. So please register, use the form, register your attendance, book your space. If you know of any other landlords who are not with Sheldon Bosley Knight at the moment, or if you know of anybody that's considering being a landlord, they're also welcome to come along. So this isn't just for our landlords, this is for any landlord or future potential landlord, but we want to fill that room. So please, if you're thinking of attending, or if you weren't thinking of attending, hopefully you are now, please get registered, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the night.
Well, it promises to be an amazing event, and you've got some great speakers again. I'm sure all the landlords that do come will have lots of questions for you. So good luck with the final preparations. I'm sure it's going to go swimmingly well. But thank you so much for coming in to tell me all about it. And thank you for watching. And if you are a landlord, as Becca said, please get in touch with the teams, because you are more than welcome. And even, as Becca said, if you're not a landlord with SBK, then you're very welcome to attend, because you'll get some top quality help, advice and support. So, but thank you, lovely, for coming in, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.